Hello everyone, welcome to a Mudbox tutorial series on a creature. We have one we're going to import from Maya, FBX, and I will provide it in the description below. So to begin with, I'm just going to import that creature in. We're going to go to File, and we're going to go to Import. And on the desktop is where I have it stored at. Let's see here, Creature, Open, and there it is. Okay, pretty simple. Okay, so to begin with, we're going to give it a couple subdivisions on here so we can actually start to sculpt. And then we're going to kind of get some of the base form sculpted in before we kind of dive into doing some of the detail work on this. We're going to go to use the hotkeys, or we can go to Mesh, Add New Subdivision Level. Okay. I'm going to go up to, let's say, level 3 to begin with. See all the artifacting is smoothed out from the hard edges of the geometry, so this is pretty smooth. So now it's ready to be sculpted on. So underneath the Sculpt tab right here, you see there's two different tabs. One's for your sculpt layers, one for paint layers. I'm going to start out by just adding one layer here. And usually I use some kind of descriptive names for this, but since this is going to be a lower level sculpt, because once you go up the levels, it'll lock the levels until you come back down to them. I'm not going to really use that big of a description. We'll just leave it at sculpt layer 1. Let's do it. We'll just call it, let's see here. Actually, let's get rid of that. We'll create a new layer. And call this one Sculpt L3. Since we're at subdivision level 3. But as we go up the layer levels, it will lock this out, so we can't use it unless we're on Sculpt 3. So that'll just tell us that's the layer level that this is on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drum in a little bit of the detail that I want. So I'll go to my Sculpt tool. Let's go up to top up here. Let's see what the strength is at 0.3 right now. Let's see how that looks. Turn off the stamp. We don't want that on right now. Also make sure that you have either mirror in the X or mirror in the local X. Local X will just make it to where it is down the center of your specific object in the X axis. Local X will just be on the origin. To be safe, we'll see on local X. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do to begin with, I'm just going to sculpt in where I want the lips to be at. So let's say somewhere right around here. And let's say it's inverted still, so turn off your inverse function if it is active. And say something down right in here. Have it go down right into there. Got some long lips. Okay. Build it up a little bit more. The cool thing about working on a small subdivision level is when I first was learning how to do this, it was kind of lost on me of what the importance was for working on a lower subdivision level. And it made sense to some regard of just kind of blocking in form. But one of the bigger takeaways is that the higher that you go up in the subdivision levels, the less powerful your smooth tool is. So getting some of your base forms in and then using your smooth tool to average out the parts you want on a lower subdivision level really plays to your benefit. Soften up those areas in here. Okay, and I'm not looking for a finished form here. I'm just kind of roughing in this base area right there. Okay. And then this area, oops, that was the masking tool, which I'm not ready to use yet. Okay, I'm going to inverse the selection now and turn on steady stroke and just kind of carve that back in one more time. Let's do steady stroke. Looks like steady strokes. Distance is fine. Spacing. I'm just not happy with the jump it's doing right now. Bring it down to 0, see if that helps. Could just be I'm on a low subdivision level, so I still can kind of block me like that. Okay. All right. Then let's go turn off stay stroke, and I'm gonna pinch these together a little bit, and then work them over a little bit more. I don't want to spend too much time on the lips, but just a little bit. Get them set up. Okay. Over my sculpt tool one more time. I'm going to go to the fall offs, and let's try one of these fall offs to get a little bit of a different. That's still on inverse. Turn the inverse function off. Have to fill the lips in a little bit more. Move that part out. Too much, obviously, but move it back in. Okay. Maybe let's pinch this part right here. Okay. And then we'll build in just a little bit coming out of here. Okay, so that's it for now. Don't get the idea that we're anywhere near done with these, but that will at least let me continue to move on. Let's go to smooth just this little spot right in here in the crease. I'm just going to go up to my smooth function and turn the strength down from 100 down to 30. And if you guys weren't seeing me activate this, it's because shift is the hotkey for smooth. You don't necessarily have to always go in this tool, but if you want to reduce the strength, you need to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and just run my smooth tool right in there. Just real low strength. Okay. Now I can bump it back up to 100, go back to my sculpt tool. Okay. So what other areas do I want to work in? This whole area in here, I kind of worked this product over a few times before, and I like this kind of like a skull kind of shape. So I want to kind of work in where like the around here, I want to leave out, and then I want to dig in kind of like where the side of the cranium would be, and then work out some of the cheekbones as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and just dig in a little bit right in here. And I'm just going to hit control. That will be the inverse function of sculpt. And I can just kind of dig in like that. Just kind of say this is going to be where that's going to be at. And then I can let go of the control and then kind of just build in some of this that's telling you about. It'll just kind of work its way into the arm area over here. And have it kind of like feed up into like underneath the eye socket, right? Smoothing some of that back out. Just some of it, not a lot of it. And then have it work its way over here as well, and off here, kind of like that. It's going to work its way over the top of his shoulders and kind of feed into where his shoulder muscles are. He's a thick creature, so I can kind of make up his anatomy, how this would work. Okay, kind of working in this bit. I'm going to give him a little bit of a chin down here. And that's a little bit weird anatomically on where that would be positioned, but he doesn't have any reproductive organs, so not weird for him. Okay. Look at his nose here. Build up a little bit over here on the end of his nose. And a little bit on top. Give him a little bit of on his nose there. A little bit on the side there, make his nostrils. A little bit more. I'm going to push this part in here so I'm going to take control and just kind of smooth it out. That'll give him kind of a ridge to his nose line. Kind of like that. Okay, that looks good for now. Again, remember that this is finished sculpt detail. We're just kind of roughing in some of this. Okay, I'm going to cave some of the eyes in so a bit more of a cavity. That way I can set some actual balls in there to be the actual eyes themselves. So I'm going to turn the strength up to, definitely not that high, let's just do 1. And then I'm going to do an inverse. So I'm going to hit Control and dig some of this in. Just going to go around the orbs where the socket's going to be at. And then underneath here, be careful not to destroy anything that I was just working on. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to build up the area around here again so that it's not quite so. Build up like the eyelid area in here a little bit. Same thing over here, just kind of add a little bit more to the, and have it kind of run off over here. Don't quite enough geometry to really get the look that I'm after here, but I do want the lids to kind of feed under each other. I'm just going to kind of begin building some of that in. And then work eyebrow over a little bit. Soften that up. And then lightly try to push that back in. So let's do 0.25. And let's just inverse that a little bit. Give a little bit of a brow there. And soften that up again. See how we're looking here. It looks very scary here. Let's smooth this up a little bit more. That's about as much as I can do here with as low a resolution we're currently at. Maybe get rid of this just a little bit. There we go. I'm going to drop some primitive objects in here so that we can have some eyeballs in here as placeholders. So I'm just going to go to the Create tab and just go to Mesh, and I'm going to put in, let's see here, Sphere. After, go to my objects. There's my sphere. I'm going to go over to my Select Move Tools, and I'm going to use my Translate tool. And it's kind of small, so I'm going to also use my Scale tool. Move it out of his nose. For some reason, it is not showing it. No problem. I can probably just do it faster by just actually deleting this then. I'm not sure why it's not displaying. It should. Um, but I do have mine open, so I can just create a sphere, create UVs for it really quick. UV, we'll do and we'll do move and sew. Select those ones. This will work out better for us anyway, since eventually I'm going to want that eyeball back anyways inside of mine. So using one of the default materials inside of Mudbox would be counterproductive in the long run, so this isn't a bad thing to do. Now, this is presuming you guys know how to use Maya. If you don't, I have plenty of tutorials on how to use Maya and how to use the UV texture editor, and I highly recommend you know how to use Maya in conjunction with Mudbox. Okay, so that top is done. The rest of them I can just do so. Go to move and sew. Grab all these here. And go to move and sew. UV shell and unwrap that. Okay. Make sure they're all inside that 1x1 area. Scale them down so they're not overlapping. That's good. Okay, go ahead and call this one mesh I. And now we can just go check this out. You can just go to File, File, Send to Mudbox, Add to Current Scene. So, keep this mesh. It's just telling me that that one top point there has a lot of edges moving to it. That's okay. Oops. There we go. Now it's visible. So now we'll go to scale. Scale this guy up. And we'll move it. And yes, you could have sculpted this in where it looked like it had an eye, but that makes it to where if you want to animate it later on, you can't animate any kind of eye movement because it's sculpted into the actual single piece of geometry. This will allow us to also have some realistic idea of what this orb would look like in here. Okay, there we go. And we can duplicate this guy and make a second one. Just move, oops. Let's just do duplicate object. Okay, let's put it right there. Okay. All right, back to the monster. And go to edit, select all. There we go. Go back to our sculpt tools, Start sculpting again. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of work in some of the stuff on the back here. Let's go ahead. Disregarding these two dots, they're just telling me those are the problems with the spheres, which at this point maybe I can turn them off when those red dots disappear. Yeah, there we go. Bring those back later on. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring the strength back up to, let's do 1.35. And let's go ahead and drum some of this in here. Okay. And then kind of like if you had a spine, I'm sure you have something that resembles a spine here. Okay. So those are his. Okay. Then we'll just smooth that out. Not quite so hard. So let's bring this from 100 down to 25. Soften that up. Soften that up. Okay, let's go ahead and bring the sculpt up a little bit more. We'll work some into the arms here. And that's my warning that I'm almost done on time, so just kind of work some of this over a little bit more. Add some tricep area. Dig in the armpits a little bit. Get much of the arms. Soften that area up. Soften that area up. Build in some more volume right there. More tricep volume or bicep volume. I'm going to ultimately kind of shrink a lot of this down, but having the anatomy in there to begin with is helpful. Smooth back to 100. Oh, I'm trying to speed right now. Come back to sculpt. All right, so there we go. Okay, let's work over this area right in here. His anatomy is a little weird, so I'm trying to like kind of imagine where his muscles would run into. All right, let's work up his forearms, and then we'll call it, and continue this a little bit later on the next lesson. Okay, just getting some more volume here. Build some of that in. Typically, like the muscle here wraps around to the other side of the wrist, and this one over here wraps around the bottom side of the wrist. smaller. Well, actually, I want to take out that little hump right there, and then work the forearm bone in a little bit harder. And just move that bit out. There we go. And I think it just needs a little more volume right in there. And then a little bit. A little bit too much. Push that back down a little bit more. And then kind of just transition this a little better. Okay. Okay, so we're at a little over 25 minutes. So this is actually a pretty good stopping point. Eyeballs back for a second. Okay, so in the next lesson, we're going to continue on roughing some of his base form, getting his lower muscle structure in there, and then we'll step it up another subdivision level and kind of start working some more of the wrinkles and getting some more details inside here. And then maybe by the end of the next lesson, we'll get into some more of the detailed texture. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.